Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I am the one and only Mark Toady.
And this is episode 49 of the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
49 episodes, Mark. We are almost there to the big half-century mark.
I wish I was only approaching the half-century mark, but I'm way past that for sure. But yeah, almost to 1 year.
Almost, yeah, things are happening now that bring back memories of where we were a year ago.
That wasn't too much over a year ago that we were at the courthouse annex interviewing Kevin Engler.
Yeah, absolutely.
About elections.
And here we are 3 elections later and still going strong. Hey, speaking of elections, we'll talk to a guy who'll be probably running for re-election soon, and that's State Senator Mike Henderson. He is fresh off of the state legislative session, and he has one of the biggest pieces of legislation that has come out of that session. So we will be visiting with him in just a little bit here on the podcast. And we also want to thank our sponsors. They include Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt, Heimberger Construction, and Hearing Care Partners, all joining us on this episode of the Parkland Podcast. What did you do this week, Mark Toady?
Oh, I went to a little celebration for the most wonderful Ursula Warren.
Yes.
Who resigned as the senior center director at the Farmington Senior Center. She is one of the best people you will ever meet. She's got a heart of gold. She has a new job opportunity waiting for her, so we wanted to wish her the best. They had a huge turnout on Friday for a celebration for her, and it was really nice and very well deserved. I bid on and I won a plate of chicken and dumplings for a fundraiser for a group of people going to Africa. And I paid like $32 for these chicken and dumplings. And I thought I was just going to get like a tray of chicken and dumplings. Honest to goodness, the tray was about from here to here and about that thick.
Woo.
The dumplings are about that thick. Tons of chicken in it the way I like it. I'm still eating chicken and dumplings.
Yeah.
This is going to last.
Your meal for the week?
This is going to last for a good long while, but I'm helping send people to Africa to build freshwater wells, so it was all worth it.
Definitely worth it, no doubt about it. Anything else exciting? Chamber stuff? We're
Winter
officially Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce members. They had a nice post about us on the Facebook. Very well written, very complimentary, especially of you, Mark.
Well, when you've been around as long as I have, not that you're a spring chicken, but
Yeah.
compared to me, you are. People figure they run out of bad things to say about you. So
they got it all out in the 80s.
Yeah. Might as well say some good things now.
But thanks to the Farmington Regional
Yes.
Chamber, we appreciate that. Let's see. This week was crazy one, as always, it seems these days. But my last day with my seniors was this past Tuesday. Sending out a lot of great young men and women into the workforce, into the college world, into wherever their paths take them. And by the time this show airs, Farmington's graduation will have happened. I'm going to try to take as many selfies with as many of my favorite seniors as possible.
Which would be all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. So looking forward to that, and that'll have already happened by the time this airs. But the big story of the week in our house was Jonas's final days as a St. Joe Hornet as he completed 8th grade this week. And, oh, man, it was so much fun. This 8th grade class is amazing. Such bright young people. There was a great mass Friday night and then a big party in the gym. I learned that my younger son, James, is a much better dancer than I suspected.
You got jiggy with it.
He got very jiggy with a lot of things. And Lucy had a great time, and just watching those kids, and fortunately for us, we've known these people, most of them for 10 years now, because they all started in preschool together in Miss Marcia's class, and it was so nice. There were gifts from all the previous teachers. They some of them stopped by and they'd drop something off at your table, or they'd have it there, for you. And Jonas did very well. He ended up, and I can't remember the name of the certificate, but basically he did not make lower than an A- on his report card.
Nice.
From 5th grade through 8th grade.
Got me
And there
beat.
were, I know, right? Me too, by a ton. There were only 3 kids that did that out of his class, and his class is full of a bunch of smarties. So congratulations to Jonas, also Harrison J. Cox and Luke Maloney, both able to accomplish that feat as well. So they got medals. And then Harrison J. Cox also got the Elk Scholarship Award and another award. So they were just all very proud of themselves. I was talking to Dr. Boyd, the principal, afterwards. He said there's been years where they've had 0 people achieve this. And he said, usually it's like 1, maybe 2, but to have 3 really says a lot. And he also said that there were a couple other kids that were real close, too. So that was great. But congratulations to the boy.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to having him and all his most of his classmates in high school next year. Going to be a lot of fun. Music trivia. Do you got or any trivia in general? Any questions?
Oh,
to
I've got a
stump us with?
few trivia questions here. I just got to find them. We're going to go with first.
First,
Our topic of the week. I just got to wait for my phone to get all built up. The Beatles' first #1 hit was,
was it "Love Me Do" or "I Want to Hold Your Hand"?
you tell me.
"Love Me Do."
I want to hold your
Oh, dang
hand. Should have stuck with your
I shoulda,
instincts. All right, this one you'll probably get, I think. The Rolling Stones' first #1 hit.
Let's Spend the Night Together.
No.
Oh, dang it! Jumpin' Jack Flash.
No,
That's later on.
I can't
Get no satisfaction.
No. Yeah, that was their first.
Okay.
How about the Eagles? Their very first #1 hit.
Very first #1 hit for the Eagles. Oh, I'm going to bomb this. I'm going to say Hotel California.
Oh, you're way off.
Way off, yeah.
Way off. Best of my
Best
love.
of My Love. Oh.
All right, how about U2?
U2's was In the Name of Love.
Nope.
Dang.
With or without you. but
With or Without You.
I like
Okay.
that song
Same
better
album,
anyway. And let's see. David Bowie's first U.S. #1 hit was
though. Fame?
Fame Indeed.
Oh, get the obscure one.
All right.
Co-written by John Lennon, by the way.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
he came up with the Fame.
And what was Bruce Springsteen's first #1 hit?
Born in the USA.
Trick question. He never had one.
Oh, Born in the USA, as many times as I saw that video, was not a #1
He
song.
never had a #1 hit. Now, a song of his became #1, Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light.
Right?
But not Bruce's version of that song. Jimi Hendrix never had a #1
Yeah.
hit. Led Zeppelin or James Brown. Ow! Never had a
Yeah.
#1 hit. So,
But lots of hits.
lots of
Lots
hits.
of
Lots
hits.
of hits. That's your trivia
Okay.
for today.
I feel like I've disappointed everybody, but maybe I gave you some extra time to get the answers or yell them at your YouTube channel.
What are you thinking of?
Jumpin' Jack Flash. What? Totally awesome radio story. Anything you want to tell us about, enlighten us?
Well, I want to send a shout out to Ashton Dane.
Yes.
She used to work at our radio station. In fact, I was invited to her wedding, but I couldn't go because it was on the same night as the St. Paul School auction. But anyway, when she was still working for us, long before she met her husband, she was sitting at the radio station with me one Saturday morning, and Toby Keith had a new song out called She's a Hottie. And I said, Ashton, look, it's your theme song. She smiled and went, ha, 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 ha. And I got on the air and I said, this one's going out to my favorite coworker, Ashton Miller at the time. And then Toby Keith gets on there, and the first words out of his mouth are, she's a hottie, she's got a smoking little body. Now, that's not something an aging radio announcer should say to a then 19 or 20-year-old girl. So I got all red in the face.
Oh, no.
And I apologized profusely, and that made her egg it on
Oh, no.
even more. And so every time we visit, and we still talk every now and then, I always remind her of that song. And if I don't, she will remind me. And we still have a good laugh about it. And it also reminded me of our good friend Roy Henson
Oh, Roy.
at Mineral Area College, playing the music before a MAC game. And he played one of the songs from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And the very first things when he started the song
Oh,
was
no. I know which one.
it was the gal robbing the
restaurant,
diner
yeah.
saying, "Up against the wall, all you mother."
Yeah.
Roy, I've never seen a guy in a wheelchair move that fast. He scooted over to the sound system and he
Yeah.
kept doing this, kept hitting it, trying to get the volume down. Couldn't get the volume down. And I'm watching the whole thing, just busting a gut.
Oh, Roy boy.
Yeah.
He was so good at keeping the party moving though, and just a great advocate for Mineral Area College and for the sports, and really good at, like, he might have missed his calling as being like a stadium coordinator.
He could have been a lot of things.
Yeah, he could have been a lot of things.
Did he ever
Thank
tell
God he's
you
Roy.
his joke about doing the hurdles at a track meet?
No.
This is his imitation of doing the hurdles, the high hurdles at a track meet. Do 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 boom. Do 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 boom. Do 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 boom.
Oh man, have you ever seen his stand up?
I've never seen it, but I've had him on the air talking.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it. I've never.
That was
got
one
to
of
see
his
him in
jokes
person.
from his
Yeah.
stand-up. So.
Oh yeah, and then at the beginning he usually lays it out as, "You having trouble understanding me? Don't worry, just have a few more drinks."
Yeah.
That's always good. And then the one he tells about when his mom bought him a treadmill, and then he's like, "Why do I need a treadmill? I can barely walk," and so he takes the treadmill back to Walmart, and as he's pulling into one of the handicap spaces in Walmart, this car comes out of nowhere and cuts him off. And he rolls down the window and he goes, "Mom." So anyways, good old Roy Henson. He's always got a good joke for you. And Mark Toady always has a totally awesome radio story.
Not always.
DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com is the website that I go to every week when I figure out what events we need to publicize in the Parkland podcast. It's also a great way to find out about day trips. You can even book a wedding on that thing. It's amazing what you can do at DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Mark, there's so much in Farmington and the Farmington area that people need to know about.
Yeah, it's not just Farmington when it comes to Discover Farmington, because they realize that what's good for the surrounding communities is good for everyone involved. So if you've got family coming in from out of town, take a look at Discover Farmington. Find a list of things you can do, whether it's to go to a winery, whether it's to go to one of the, 275 state parks we
Yeah.
have within 30 miles of Farmington, or upcoming concerts and shows. Discover Farmington can get you hooked up.
Check them out today, DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Never too early to start thinking about blues, brews, and barbecue coming in
Amen.
September.
Going to be a great time.
Going to be awesome. We'll be there broadcasting from that event as well. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com, the website. Go there today. So for 6 years in a row, Hearing Care Partners has been voted best in Missouri. And we know they're the best because when Dr. Karen Milton comes in, she walks us through the process, how things go. She is so into her job. Her staff are so into their job. And I mean, they really take professionalism to the next level.
They have never met a stranger.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about Hearing Care Partners. Whether you're a patient of theirs or just somebody that stops in to say, hey, they are going to treat you so well. I absolutely love Karen Melton and her staff. I could go there just to hang out, especially on pizza day.
Oh, yeah. That's the best day. Follow them on Facebook. They're always telling you about new things they have going on, and just a great just great customer experience is available for you at Hearing Care Partners. See them in Farmington today. They're on Walton Drive behind Walmart, or go to hearingcarepartners.com. News time is now on the Parkland Podcast.
The big story of this past week, the weather. Damage still being assessed after multiple tornadoes were reported this past Friday. Hail damage, strong winds, and more. Multiple people are reported to have died in the city of St. Louis, and there were also at least 2 fatalities in the Scott County area as another round of severe weather moved through the state. This was reportedly the first time a tornado-related death has occurred in St. Louis since 1959.
The Missouri State Legislative session is complete, and we will have a recap coming up with State Senator Mike Henderson.
Work is also underway on a new water system for the city of Leadwood. A groundbreaking was held this past week on the $12.6 million project that should be complete in the next 2 years.
The Berry Road Bridge project continues to near completion. With beams in place, the new structure is on track for a June 30th completion date. Reopening of the bridge provides an alternative route for traffic and buses on Highway 67 in the north end of the county. The $4 million project was paid for mostly by federal funds issued during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And a Veterans Day Memorial Day service will take place on Monday, May 26th. From 11 until noon at the St. Francis County Courthouse in Farmington.
And that's a check of your news on the Parkland Podcast. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt are there to help you with the rising cost of food. Your dollar goes so much further. And we've talked about this before. And too late, this has already happened by the time you see this podcast. But it could happen again. Pick 6 for $24.99 at Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, when you go to Save-A-Lot, the next time you go and you get your groceries, ask about how to sign up to get their mystery coupons.
Yes.
Trust me, there
get 'em
will
every
be
Saturday.
every Saturday there's going to be big bargains available to you. You don't want to miss out, and you're going to just love the way you treat it when you go. You're treated when you go to Save-A-Lot.
Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts all over the area. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Farmington, Park Hills, and Potosi. Follow that Facebook page and make sure you're aware of all the special deals they have going on. They've had a lot of cool promotions lately. They're now working through Uber Eats and DoorDash if you want your groceries delivered to you. All available at your local Save-A-Lot store.
Love the Farmington location. That's where I go. So I want to send a shout out to Clint and his group for doing a great job of being our local hometown supermarket.
Absolutely. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. Let's talk pharmacy. Parkland Pharmacy. They are at parklandrx.com. Small town pharmacy at their finest. They are so organized. They have so many great services. They're more than just a place to get your prescriptions, Mark Tody.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Julie Berghaus. She called me the other day and she goes, "What's that stuff that you like so much?" I said, "The Emergency." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm going to order some of that. You want me to get you some?" I said, "Absolutely." And she didn't have to do that, but that's the kind of great one-on-one customer service that they offer. They get to know their customers, what they like and who they are, and they will go the extra mile for them. So I love everything about that pharmacy, and that is why they are my hometown pharmacy.
Got to use 2 fingers if you want to scroll up or down.
I'm looking at their Facebook page while you were doing that.
ParklandRx.com is the website. Their delivery is fantastic, and all the special services they offer as well is really what makes them second to none. Check out Parkland Pharmacy today, the official pharmacy of the Parkland Podcast. It's time to check events. They are powered by Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Mom's Cafe offering up a free meal Wednesday at the Methodist Church in Farmington.
A couple of blood drives coming up for you Thursday at the Esther Methodist Church. That begins at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then on Friday at New Heights Church between Park Hills and Farmington at 11 a.m.
Kohl's Tractor and Equipment PRCA Regional Rodeo takes place at the St. Francis County Fairgrounds May 23rd and 24th at 7:30.
Bust out the swimming trunks. The Farmington Water Park opens May 24th.
The Park Hills Summer Concert Series kicks off May 24th with the St. Chuck Band at the Amphitheater in Columbia Park.
A Veterans Memorial Day service will take place on Memorial Day, May 26th from 11 a.m. to noon at the St. Francis County Courthouse.
Big Country Day celebration in Farmington June 6th, 7th, and 8th with carnivals, games, rides, 2 stages of free concerts, a cooling station, a parade, a Jeep show, quilt show, cornhole tournament, music, firehouse competition, and more.
Looking forward to it, Farmington Country Days 2025. A Cherokee art exhibition will take place June 11th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the historic Longhouse in Farmington.
Leadbelt Pentecostal Church is hosting Vacation Bible School June 11th through the 15th, ages 5 to 12. Go to their Facebook page for more information.
The Mark Griggs Memorial Kiwanis Golf Tournament happens June 16th, 1 o'clock at Crown Point Golf Club in Farmington.
More music with the Park Hills Summer Concert Series June 20th. Audio Glow at the Amphitheater in Columbia Park.
Chris Cagle will be taking the stage at the St. Francis County Fairgrounds, helping wrap up the 150th St. Francis County Fair. His big concert is August 2nd.
And don't forget about Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. Mark your calendar now. You don't want to miss it. September 19th and 20th in downtown Farmington.
Those are your events, and they are powered by Discover Farmington. Find out about local events, even book a wedding or day trip today at discoverfarmingtonmo.com.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Let's do a birthday segment on the Parkland podcast. Your birthdays for the week of Monday, May 19th. Let us know about a birthday you have. Hit us up on the Instagram, the Facebook, or the TikTok, or email, or if you see Mark at Walmart, tell him about it. Whatever
Or
it
Save
takes.
a Lot.
Save a Lot. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We need to talk more about Save a Lot, less about the W place. That's right. Yes, if you see Mark at Save a Lot or Hearing Care Partners or Subway, or if he's hanging outside Kristen's office for Discover Farmington, Parkland
Or just
Pharmacy,
because I like
you'll see him
Kristen.
a lot. Yeah, well, yeah, she's not a bad hang. Parkland Pharmacy, actually, Mark's in there quite a bit. So
The older you get, so
yeah,
will you be.
So will you. So anyways, let him know, and we will make sure we wish you a happy birthday. Who do you have? I have no birthdays for Monday, May 19th. This is all on you, sir.
All right, Sarah Rigdon, happy
Hey.
birthday to you. She was a school teacher at Farmington for a while, and she goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church. Happy birthday to you from your mom and dad, your sister, your niece and nephew, and all of your family. Ken Kerfman, happy birthday to you. He gets involved in a lot of good causes in the Jefferson County area. Used to interview him on the radio on occasion. Ken, happy birthday wishes to you. And Donnie Hawkins, happy birthday wishes to you. He used to be associated with the Save a Lot stores.
Don Hawks.
Yeah. So happy birthday to you, Donnie. I hope you are doing well.
What about Tuesday, May 20th?
Tuesday, Julie Krupe celebrating
Yes.
a birthday, wife of the coach, Coach Eric Krupe.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you from your husband and your kids and all of your family. She is very, very heavily involved in the Casa of the Parkland organization and just does a great job in a lot of different ways. Julie, happy birthday to you. And happy birthday to Lisa Short. Lisa is technically a Lutheran, but she does a lot of stuff also for the Catholic Church, helping
Okay.
them with their mission trips. In fact, they had a barbecue. Every time they have a barbecue, I know that Jake will be the guy doing the barbecue.
He's the Qer.
Yeah,
Jake Whitener's the
our
Qer.
good buddy Jake the Snake Whitener.
Yes.
But Lisa's always the one that reminds me that there's one coming up, so I always
Okay,
run over there
good.
and pick up a pork steak. So happy birthday to you, Lisa. I hope you're doing well. That's from Mike and your son and your family and all your friends at both churches.
Happy birthday to Jen Reed. Jen celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Hope you have a great day, young lady. What about Wednesday, May 21st?
The only birthday I have for Wednesday is Molly Fetter. She is one of my all-time favorite people. I've known her since she was like just a little squirt, and then she was one of the contestants in the Azalea Queen pageant one year. Almost won. She was a finalist. I think she finished second, but I'm not really sure on that. Then she became a dental professional, and she helped keep my teeth very, very clean, and I absolutely love that gal, and she's expecting her first baby.
Hey,
So,
congratulations.
Congratulations to you, Molly, from all your
Yeah.
family.
Very good. The only birthday I have for Wednesday is Laura Grayton. Laura celebrating a birthday. She was one of Kayla's bridesmaids in the wedding. You were one of our readers.
Yeah, I made the Bible up.
Yeah.
My eyes blurred. I couldn't read what was on there. I was either going to have to stop and say I can't read this or make something up.
Those radio instincts kicked right in, didn't
I made it up.
they? You did great, buddy.
Sorry, Lord.
Nobody noticed. God has forgiven you. What about Thursday, May 22nd?
Hey, happy birthday to Heather Hicks. Heather works at J98 Radio. And
okay.
got to know her in my last year and a half of working there. She's a really, really good human being. Happy birthday to you. Her daughter, I think, was homecoming queen at North County last year.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday
Hey.
wishes to you, Heather, from all of your family. Bobby Fitz, happy birthday to you. She's married to John Fitz. Full-time job, keeping him in line, I'm sure, but Bobby does a good job of that. Happy birthday to you. Darlene Jarrett, 3-time Lutheran of the Year at St. Paul Lutheran Church. Happy birthday to you, Darlene. Hope you're doing great. And Julie Bollinger, also a member of St. Paul Lutheran Church. Happy birthday to both you ladies from your St. Paul family and your family.
Happy birthday on Thursday to Lucas Dement. He's the theater teacher at Potosi High School. Happy birthday, sir. Hope it's a great day for you. Natalie Ricard, used to work with her at Unitech. Natalie was a blast. She was one, you know those people that they start laughing and they just can't stop?
Yeah.
Natalie's one of those people.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's always fun to have around. Happy birthday, Natalie. Hope it's a great day for you. Local real estate agent Thomas Beckerman celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, sir. And Nikki Rawson with a birthday on Thursday as well. Happy birthday to Nikki. What about Friday, May 23rd?
Friday, Laura Murray. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady, from your husband, Dustin, and your kids. Hope you are doing fantastic. She's the school teacher in the Farmington School District. Happy birthday to you, Laura. Whitney Threet celebrating a birthday. And I bring this up because back when she was a Mac nursing student, she was Whitney Byington, and she came in and did an interview with me on the Mac Student Nurse Blood Drive. And then I interviewed her again when we did our live broadcast from the blood drive. And she was just always so pleasant and very nice to deal with. Whitney, happy birthday wishes to you. And Jennifer Kreitz, who I've known since she was about 12 years old, celebrating a birthday. I saw her this past Friday at Ursula's going away shindig at the Farmington Senior Center. Jennifer, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to one of the biggest North County Raider fans ever, Mr. Chris Crater. When Chris is on the sidelines of a North County football game, he gets intense. He is into it. And Chris, I know the Raider fans always appreciate your passion. Happy birthday, buddy. Hope it's a great day for you. And Alicia Mosier celebrating a birthday on Friday as well. Happy birthday, Alicia. Hope it's a great day for you. What about Saturday, May 24th? I got a bunch.
Saturday, we're going to start off with one I know that it's on both of our lists. The one and only Natalie Sago. Love Natalie Sago. I know you do too. She is an NBA referee.
She knows LeBron James.
She knows, LeBron
does.
James shook her hand, welcomed her to the league.
Yeah.
She said that was one of the stories she told me. It's still my goal to get her on this podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
So Natalie, you are just awesome at what you've accomplished in life and hanging with it. So continued success to you. Happy birthday to my buddy Mitchell Weddle. Her mom is Patsy Weddle.
Yeah.
And I still remember when Mitchell was just a little kid. I interviewed him on the radio, and he loved Shania Twain.
Well, who doesn't?
Oh my gosh! But then, now remember, he's 3 years old at the time.
Okay.
And I asked him about Faith Hill. I said, "What about Faith Hill?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Really? You don't like Faith Hill? You don't think she's pretty?" She goes, "Faith Hill is a walking, talking, poke in the eye." And I'm like,
Whoa.
Something tells me you'll outgrow that one.
A walking, talking, poke in the eye.
Mitchell, happy birthday to you, buddy. My buddy Larry Epstein celebrates a birthday. He used to own a restaurant in the Maple Valley Center, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it was a pizza place, but I'm not sure. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Larry, from your wife and your son. His son was an awesome, awesome football player at Farmington High School back in the day. Went on to play college ball. Happy birthday to you from Jane and all your family. And Busy met her about a year ago. She is a really nice lady. Busy, happy birthday to you from your husband and from all your friends and family.
I guess I start with my younger brother, Mr. John Lowry, celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, little brother. Boy, the teachers sure were confused after they had me in class and then had John, because we are very different people. We operate differently. But love you so much, buddy. Hope you have the bestest birthday, and I hope you catch lots of fish. A former teacher who I think about a lot, mostly whenever I grade student work and go, oh my gosh, I made the same mistake and this poor lady helped me so much. Donna Bouchard. Happy birthday, Mrs. Bouchard. She was my journalism teacher in high school.
Any relation to Mike Bouchard?
Yes, and I can't remember exactly, but I believe brother-in-law. But Donna's fantastic, and golly, she was still teaching when I started teaching 7 years ago, like as a substitute. Like she'd still come in and help out, and just super organized and just so good with students and helping out teenagers, and just so encouraging. Happy birthday, Mrs. Bouchard. I'm really sorry for all the stupid things I did. Let's see. Rob Murphy celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, Rob. Jennifer Bryan with a birthday on Saturday, and Jake Waters. Jake had the best Butthead impersonation ever. Yeah. I mean, he was so perfect, and I bet he can still do that. Happy birthday, Jake. Hope you have an awesome day. All right, wrapping up the week. Sunday, May 25th, a big one for me. I'm sure for you too.
Hey, our good buddy Steve Bessemer,
Yes.
former co-worker. I remember when I took over as program director, Steve was working part-time overnight, and I remember Jeff Fisher, who I was taking over for, goes, "You do what you want. It's your department now, but if I were you, I'd hire this guy full-time." So I said, I took that to heart, and I hired him full-time, and I never regretted it.
Yeah.
Steve, I think he still works for the state of Missouri.
I think so too, yeah. Emergency preparedness.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that. I think he's doing something similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Though. But Steve, happy
Yeah.
birthday to you, buddy. I hope you are doing fantastic. Another good friend of ours, Scott Eccles,
Scott.
celebrates a birthday. He's one of those guys that's always quick with a laugh
Yes.
as well. So happy birthday to you. Former guest of the podcast, David Easter,
Yes.
celebrating a birthday.
Former
on
mayor,
Sunday.
current alderman in the city
Yeah.
of Park Hills. Not just comics, his business in downtown. Great guy.
Happy birthday wishes to you, David. And I hope I say this right. A lot of folks still know her as Laura Raymer, but
Yes.
Laura Palazzola, I think is how you say her name now. She got remarried about a year and a half ago. Awesome gal.
Absolutely.
Awesome gal. Did a great job running the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. She was on the United Way board for a while, and just a wonderful human being. Happy birthday to you from your husband, from your family, from your wonderful daughter, Miss Ann, who I've interviewed a number of times on the radio. Laura, I hope you're doing fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Happy birthday to Mrs. Martin, Amy Martin, English teacher at Farmington High School. Happy birthday to you from your husband and your 2 fine children. Pam Clifton of the Daily Journal with the birthday on Sunday. Pam also works in the West County School District and does some nice articles. Happy birthday, Pam. Hope you have a great day. Holly Landalt celebrating a birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday to Holly. And somebody, I guess I wouldn't say you worked against, but they were a fellow media person through a lot of your time. Sherry Grimminger, longtime managing editor of the Daily Journal, Farmington Press. Happy birthday to Sherry. And I remember this was probably mid-2000s. I was a salesperson at the Daily Journal, and there was a really bad accident where a young person died, I think in an ATV accident or something like that, and the Daily Journal did a story about it, and for some reason, there were some people that were upset about the story, and so they came in, and Sherry met with each and every one of those people and talk to them. And I just thought that was so respectful, because a lot of times in the media, somebody will say something or do something, and then they're just, kind of hide from everybody. And she got out and spoke to everybody and owned up to the journalism. So happy birthday to you, Sherry. I hope you and Ron have a great day on Sunday. Those are your birthdays on the Parkland Podcast. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belt are there to help you with the rising cost of food. Your dollar goes so much further. And we've talked about this before. And too late. This has already happened by the time you see this podcast. But it could happen again. Pick 6 for $24.99 at Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, when you go to Save-A-Lot, the next time you go and you get your groceries, ask about how to sign up to get their mystery coupons.
Yes.
Trust me, there
get 'em
will
every
be
Saturday.
every Saturday there's going to be big bargains available to you. You don't want to miss out, and you're going to just love the way you treat it when you go. You're treated when you go to Save-A-Lot.
Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts all over the area. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Farmington, Park Hills, and Potosi. Follow that Facebook page and make sure you're aware of all the special deals they have going on. They've had a lot of cool promotions lately. They're now working through Uber Eats and DoorDash if you want your groceries delivered to you. All available at your local Save-A-Lot store.
Love the Farmington location. That's where I go. So I want to send a shout out to Clint and his group for doing a great job of being our local hometown supermarket.
Absolutely. Save-A-Lot of the Lead Belts, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast.
Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Melton with Hearing Care Partners. Hearing loss doesn't just affect your ears, it impacts conversations, relationships, and daily life. Do you catch yourself nodding along but missing the words? Are you straining to hear in crowded spaces? Don't ignore these signs. If you notice them, come see us. At Hearing Care Partners, our expert team makes it easy to find personalized solutions. A simple test could change everything. Visit hearingcarepartners.com to book your free hearing evaluation today. At Hearing Care Partners, we listen so you can hear.
Here's your sports on the Parkland Podcast. Let's start with MAC baseball. The Cardinals, winners of the Region 16 tournament for the first time in school history, hosting Eastern Oklahoma in the South Central District playoff game. Winner of the 3-game series advances to the National Junior College World Series. And MAC wins the first game at Hal Lowry Field 5-3, and then fall in the second game 8-6 on Thursday. And that set up a winner-take-all game on Friday. The weather had a delay, but MAC would fall 6-3, the final score on Friday. And Eastern Oklahoma will represent the area in the World Series. MAC ends the season with a record of 42-8, the most wins in program history, and of course, that first time ever Region 16 title. From there we go with high school. Monday we had some boys golf, and North County finishes third in the Class 4 District 1 tournament, Farmington 6th. Class 2 District 1, West County finishes 10th, Arcadia Valley 12th. However, both schools sending individual golfers to the state meet. As saying Class 1, District 1, Valley Catholic does advance. They finish second in their district. Softball, District 3 semifinals in Class 2. West County ending Potosi's season. 6-2 the final score there. Regular season soccer, Cape Notre Dame blanks Farmington. And regular season baseball, Farmington blanks Dexter. On Tuesday, boys tennis, the North County Raiders continue their run. They get a win in the state quarterfinals, 5-0 over Lutheran. In softball, Class 2, District 3, West County blanks Licking 9-0. Class 2, District 2, St. Genevieve ending Central season 13-2. Clearwater getting past Valley Catholic to end their season 3-1. Then regular season baseball games, West County 11-1 over Fredericktown. Potosi defeats Arcadia Valley. Farmington blanks St. Pius. Kingston a win over Grandview. Valley Catholic beats North County, and Hillsborough defeats Central. One girls soccer match from Tuesday, Sullivan better than North County. Wednesday, softball, Class 2, District 2 championship game in Clearwater in St. Genevieve season 7-6, the final in that championship game, so the Tigers moving on. Regular season baseball, Valley R6, a winner over South Iron. Sykeston edges North County. DeSoto gets by St. Gen, and St. Pius beats Fredericktown. One girls soccer match, North County blanking Kelly. Then on Thursday, North County on the pitch again, a 3-0 win over St. James. And regular season baseball, Valley a win over Arcadia Valley. Farmington doubles up Seckman, and St. Genevieve beats Perryville. Then we move on to Saturday in track and field, Class 4, District 1. Farmington Festus wins, North County second. Class 4, District 1 girls, Festus a win there. Class 5, District 1 Farmington girls finished fourth. In the boys' side, they finish second. So Farmington moving on the boys' side, and on the girls' side, several individuals making their way to the next round as well. Baseball playoffs, Class 3, District 3. Kingston gets past Arcadia Valley to end the Tigers season. And in Class 4, District 4, Bismarck doubles up Crystal City. Valley R6 a win over Principia. Class 4, District 2, Herculaneum ends Potosi's year 14-1, the final there. And girls playoff soccer sees both North County and Farmington fall in the Class 3, District 1, ending their respective seasons. That is a check of sports right here on the Parkland Podcast.
Do you often ask others to repeat themselves? Is the TV volume creeping up higher? Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Melton, and it could be time to have your hearing checked. Hearing loss happens gradually, making it hard to notice. At Hearing Care Partners, we offer thorough hearing evaluations that uncover even subtle changes in your hearing over time. Early detection can improve your hearing and your life. Start prioritizing your hearing today. Schedule your appointment now at hearingcarepartners.com. At Hearing Care Partners, we listen so you can hear.
Let's talk some politics now here on the Parkland Podcast. Fresh off the wrapping up of the current legislative session, we have the Senator for District 3 in the state of Missouri, Mike Henderson. Coach, good to see you. I guess you ran here to the barn this morning, right?
No, I did not, but it's very good to be here with you and Mark, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on here.
If we would have recorded this interview last week, how many years younger do you look this week? How much more comfortable and relaxed are you this week as compared to last week?
I feel a whole lot better. I've done a lot of sleeping the last few days because I was a little bit sleep deprived. I think I told you guys earlier, the last 2 weeks, we were on the floor till 10:30 one night, and it was at least 11:45 or later every other night. And I'm proud of that, actually, because we put in a lot of hard work trying to get all we can. The Senate function this year actually did what we're supposed to do. I think this session, I was very happy with that.
Well, let's kind of talk about how things ended. I believe 39 pieces of legislation roughly passed on to the governor coming up. We'll start with there. We'll talk about what are some highlights, things that were accomplished in this legislation that you guys could be proud of.
Well, I think one of them was the takeover of the St. Louis Police Department. And let me say that I'm a big local control guy, but there comes a point where things are out of control somewhere and somebody has to step up and try to get it. And as a part of that whole package, and if you look, the new mayor of St. Louis dropped the lawsuit because she said, basically was saying she thought this is probably the best thing for St. Louis at this point to try to do something. But we also did something with outlawing the street racing where they'd block off streets down there and do stunt driving. If you remember, the one young girl lost both her legs off of one of those incidents. We did several things in that bill to try to clamp down on crime in St. Louis. And I would say people from our area go to St. Louis a lot. They want to go to a Cardinal game. They want to go out to eat. They shouldn't be afraid for their life just because they want to go to a Cardinal game or go out to eat. And I think we took some steps in the right direction to support our law enforcement to make sure people can do that. Does that solve all the problems? No. We can't solve all the problems in Jeff City, but maybe we can make some steps that will make it easier for the police to come in and do their job.
Proposition A has been one you've probably received more phone calls about than just about anything that has happened in the state of Missouri. And I know the argument against what happened with Proposition A is, hey, we voted for this. We wanted this. If you could explain why you and the majority in Jeff City felt that that some of these things needed to be changed.
This is probably one of the tougher things you do because they're right. The people did vote on that. And the people are very smart. But I would also say that is part of the problem with initiative petitions because they get to read a little bit and they say, I'd really like to help these people, so I'm going to vote for this. But they don't really, because they're raising their family, they're raising their kids, they're working 40 or 50 hours a week, and they've got busy lives to do all the research sometimes. What we did, we kept the $15 an hour minimum wage in there. But what we did, we took the CPI off. If we didn't, at some point, we were going to have the highest minimum wage in the entire nation, even more than the East and West Coast. And we also took the paid time off of that right now. There were a lot of problems with it because it didn't even define, is this full-time equivalent? What is full-time equivalent? Is it every employee? I took more calls from small business owners who told me, I'm probably just going to have to shut down. I don't know how to, I don't think I can do this. My business can't survive under this. Now, will we come back at some point and maybe try to do something with all this? Maybe. But we also know most people think, who's the largest employer in Missouri? And they might think Boeing or this company or that company. It's your small business owners. Employ way more people in Missouri than any company out there. And so, you know, we felt like we had to do something to make sure we help these small business owners. We may come back with something in the future to try to help in this situation, but I voted for it. I would vote for it again. I felt very strongly that we had to do something.
So immediately then, the paid time off, that no longer is a requirement for employers? That
is correct.
Okay. And then anything else changes with the initiative other than?
The only other thing is once we reach $15 an hour, it was going to go to consumer price index and raise with it every time. And we took the CPI off of it and said, if we're going to raise it, we need to keep raising it there. If you remember, the federal is 7-something right now, and we're getting ready to go to 15 here in Missouri. And we are in the Midwest. Our cost of living is much lower, and yet we're higher than, that would have made us the highest of any state not on the East or West Coast.
So are there any concerns about more rising prices because of this?
Oh, you mean because of raising minimum wage?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I think that's probably going to happen. I've had small business owners say, the only thing I can do is raise my prices, but I'm also afraid that'll run my customers off. And so they're caught in that conundrum of, I'm going to probably have to raise prices, but then will my customers say, I want to shop small business, but it's just too high. I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there.
I also wanted to talk about the abortion bill. That was also another hot button item again in the state Senate. Kind of talk about why the Senate decided to do what they did.
What I want to make clear first is we did not overturn anything. We overturned nothing. All we did was say we're going to put it back on the ballot and put this on with exceptions. So we got exceptions for rape, incest, fetal abnormalities, health of the mother, and said, we heard you when you passed to let abortion happen at any time, anywhere in Missouri. But we think most Missourians are really still fairly conservative on the abortion issue, so we put some exceptions in and said, we're going to let you vote on it. If you tell us no, that's fine. To me, really, I'm going to tell you, I'm pro-life, so it's not really fine with me. But if you tell us no, that's it. But we're going to put it back on the issue, and the people will decide. So I've had people say, you overturned the will of people. We've not overturned anything on that issue. We're just going to put it back on the ballot.
I know it's majority rurals, but there's also the rural versus urban issue when it comes to things like this, where I think the majority of counties in Missouri voted against this bill, but the bigger cities pushed it through. There's nothing you can do with that, is there?
No, in fact, what you're talking about is I think it was Greene, Boone, St. Louis, and
Jackson,
maybe Cass, and one other one over on the Kansas City side. I may be missing one. Is the only counties that passed Amendment 3, and the rest did not pass Amendment 3. So you're exactly right. It is very much an urban versus rural divide in that area.
Let's talk about some of your own legislation. The most popular one in Farmington High School amongst the kids that we talk about pretty much daily is your cell phone bill. Tell us about that and why you decided to put that legislation forward.
Several reasons. It's really a school safety issue is what I see it as. These cell phones have become really bad for a lot of these kids in the school thing. And can we stop all the things that are happening? So I want to make that clear. This isn't going to stop it all. Maybe we can give them a safe space in. They're cheating on these cell phones. They're sexting on these cell phones. They're bullying on these cell phones. You know, there's all kinds of bad things that are happening at school. It was in another state. This wasn't in Missouri, but the other day, somebody used AI for a nude photograph of a young boy. I think he was 14 or 15. It went all over school. People were laughing, making fun. He probably had other issues, maybe. He goes home and commits suicide. And what I'm saying is these things are happening. They're real life things. And there's also a great deal of research that says these kids are on there between an hour and a half and 2 hours a day during school time. During school time. And I'm a reading, writing, arithmetic guy. You know, we talk about kids learning, you know, more time on task. I think it does help. There's research to show that. The other thing is there's research to say that coming out of COVID, a lot of these kids don't know how to communicate like we are right here.
Right.
They can text each other and they can talk on their phone, but they can't really sit there and communicate. So I'm willing to be the bad guy on this. And we passed it it was really the only education bill that passed. It was a school safety bill that had things on lead and drinking water in it. Also, it had in all new construction having mag locks or safety intruder doors on the outside of buildings, and a number of Stop the Bleed Act, AEDs, which for people who have a heart attack, and trying to make it possible to have those in the schools. It was all about safety for the kids, and I believe the cell phone is a safety bill. And by the way, we did put exceptions in there. If your child uses that to monitor their glucose or other health concerns, they can still do it. In an emergency, such as a tornado or an earthquake, they can still use their cell phones. It's in the law. If your school has a policy, they can use it for instruction with explicit permission from the teacher. They could use it for instructional purposes only. And I'm missing one in there. Oh, if it's written into your IEP, that you need your cell phone because of your learning disability in some way, you can still do that. We try to be very reasonable. And how the schools enforce that, the policy within that, is up to each individual school district.
Will there be any additional funding tied to this? Like, okay, we're going to allocate this much money per student for like maybe a bag system to put the phones in or to get those locks or anything like that?
We did not at all. I didn't even think about that, and I didn't really want to do that for a couple of reasons. I want to leave it up to the schools. You know, I'm always a believer in local control, and you say, well, you just violated it with that bill. But really, we're just saying we're going to do this. How you enforce it, we're going to leave it up to the local schools. But, Jason, that'll lead me to something else. We fully funded the foundation formula for the 9th straight year and the transportation. So that was an additional almost $500 million, maybe a little over $500 million to fully fund the formula because we moved to MSIP 6. It gets complicated on the foundation formula, but it pushed that number higher, and we did fully fund that. So my argument would be the schools will have more money next year than they've ever had by far, and so there's ways they can implement this.
I'm gonna bring up the C word. COVID. Back a few years ago when all this money was coming in, there was a lot of money to go around. And I remember interviewing you and you saying, one of these years, this is going to come back to haunt us and we're going to have some tough decisions to make. Have we hit that time frame yet, or is that something you're preparing for?
We're real close, Mark. We're real close to that. Right now, we left about $1.3 billion on the bottom line that we did not spend this year. But we know it's coming. We know the next 2 or 3 years are going to be pretty lean up there. We're not going to be able to do a lot of the projects and the things that we've done in the past. It's just not going to be possible. And we try to leave some money on the bottom line. Now, I wasn't real happy that the House this year didn't take up House Bill 19, and I really don't approve of that. And I think it was a political stunt, in my opinion, because there was a lot of good things in there. Like there was one thing in our area to help us get the industrial park started over there next to the Mac Tech Center, and that went away. But think of some of the others. There were $50 million in there for the nuclear reactor at Mizzou. It is the leading nuclear medical reactor in the entire nation. They're close to making breakthroughs in breast cancer and prostate cancer, the two most common types of cancer. And it's one of the leading ones in the world, and we killed that money. There was $1 million in there for a sheltered workshop. I'm a big believer in sheltered workshops that burned. It wasn't in my district. It was in Phelps County, and they don't know how they're going to reopen that at this point. There was a lot of good things like that are helping people out there. There was some money for a hospital over in Salem that may close now. Some of those people may be an hour and a half from the nearest hospital. Yeah. And so my point is, these were real life things for some of these people, and I feel like it got killed for political reasons to say we made a more conservative budget than the Senate, and I'm not a big fan of that. You know, look at people. Just try to make people's lives a little bit better if you can.
Well, you kind of touched on it there. What were some disappointments from this session? What didn't happen that you really wanted to see come through?
I think House Bill 19 was my biggest disappointment because we could have arguments about everything that's in it, but there was a lot of good things that were going to actually, there were eco-devo, economic development for Missouri, and solve problems for real-life people, and especially in rural areas. The rural people are the ones that kind of got the shaft on that one, because a lot of those projects were in rural areas to help these people with some of their things, and I hate that. I hate that we lost that. That was probably, to be honest, was my biggest disappointment of the whole session.
Is there going to be a special session? Because there are some things that didn't get addressed that probably need to be.
I'm hearing that there's a good possibility in June there will be one for the funding for the stadium for the Kansas City Royals. I'm just going to be clear and honest where I'm at. I told the governor this the other day. I'm probably a no right now. A couple of reasons. If we can't fund some of those projects like I just talked about in 19, then how do I give money to a billionaire? And I know we don't want the Royals to leave, but I'm going to give money to a billionaire. I'm going to fund projects like keeping a hospital open and a sheltered workshop and eco-devo projects. That's a pretty simple solution to me. Now, maybe we can try to revive both of them and do something with both, and then I would consider it if we could do some of that. But otherwise, I have some issues. I don't have people in my district calling saying, would you please give some money for that stadium to them? So.
Do you think if it was the other way around, if the Cardinals were asking for this money, do you think you would hear from your constituents about that?
I don't want to answer that question. No. No. And we know that people still love the St. Louis Cardinals.
Sure.
And I get it. And that's why I'm saying, but even if it was the Cardinals and we say we can't fund these, I'd still have some problem giving them money if we can't fund these. So to be honest with you, I'd want to give the Cardinals the money.
Right.
I'm going to be honest about that.
Yeah.
But it would be still a tough ask if you get what I'm saying.
Sure.
And I guess the older I get, Jason, the more I try to look at things globally and long term, and I guess I've gotten a little better at that actually. With age sometimes helps with that.
Absolutely.
Any surprises from this session, things you didn't see happening that happened?
No, not really. I think I'm very proud. I came to the Senate, and we've all heard for years the Senate was dysfunctional. And believe me, this wasn't me. But I wouldn't have ran if I didn't think we had the right people running, that the Senate would function and function as it's supposed to. You know, in the Senate, we do a lot of negotiations with Democrats, and that's okay. We come, a lot of times it keeps us balanced where we do some of these things. And I thought we did a great job of that this session, and the Senate functioned extremely well this year. And we never blew up. We kept everything going. We kept the trains on the track and kept moving bills. I thought we did a lot of good things this session. Just like one of the things we did was an initiative petition. We banned money from other countries coming in to fund some of these initiative petitions that go on the ballot. I don't think most Missourians want money coming from other countries to fund some of these. So I thought we did a great job with that. We functioned as we were supposed to. Did we get everything done everybody'd want to? No. I don't think it's intended for that. I don't think we're intended to pass everything every year, but we vetted everything very well. I don't think we made a lot of big mistakes.
Good.
What's your take on the AT&T situation with the tower upgrades and what they're wanting to do there?
I don't know if I'm real familiar with what you're talking about,
Okay.
Jason.
So, if I'm reading correctly, one of the things in addition to the funding for the Royals, then that complex, is a tax credit for AT&T towers to do upgrades.
I'm not a big tax credit guy,
Right.
so I think that might answer your question. I'm not a big tax credit guy, and I don't like it when they lump other things into a bill like that to try to get them to tag along. I will say one more thing I want to say, because some of the people brought it up. We passed a big bill for our utilities.
Right.
And a lot of people some people were upset with me because I voted for that bill. So I'd like to explain it real briefly if I can.
Sure, absolutely.
In Missouri here, one of the biggest problems we have is getting enough power. We closed some of our coal burning plants. And if we don't open some new plants, I'm not against small nuclear reactors, but they're so expensive and they've almost regulated them out by the things the EPA has done. So they're going to open natural gas plants. And most of these natural gas plants are over $1 billion. I didn't realize I'm actually on the Commerce Committee, Commerce and Utilities Committee. I'm vice chairman of it. So I've learned more than I wanted to, I think, about utilities. But if we didn't do something, we couldn't bring more business in, because without power, they can't. I met with a gentleman the other day that was telling me how many rare minerals we have. We keep hearing all about all these rare minerals now. And there's so many in the tailings around here from all the mining that's taking place in Missouri, but he's got to have more power. We can't get them out. And everybody said it's going to make my utilities go up. I want to make one thing clear. Everything is still before the Public Service Commission. Public Service Commission, as they always have, no rates go up without them okaying it, the same as they've always been. All we did was try to come up with a plan to create more power here in the future. These data centers are also moving in. I don't know if you're familiar with those. They use an unbelievable amount of power.
Sure. It's
And
a
so
million servers going
consequently,
all the time.
we've got to make sure Missouri has enough power for the next 20 years. But we did leave all rate changes up to the Public Service Commission. Are utilities costs going to go up?
Well, yeah, everything is.
They're probably going to.
Yeah. So that's I guess kind of the sticky wicket, because earlier you said I don't want to give a tax break to a billionaire with a baseball team, but at the same time, with the utilities, with cell phones, this is an infrastructure thing that we have to have. How difficult is that to walk that line and say, okay, we're going to give this because we think the benefits are going to outweigh, I guess, the break in taxes, right?
Jason, you're exactly right. It's kind of like being married. You got to walk that line sometimes, and you got to make sure. I've been married for 41 years now, so I've walked that line several times through the years, and you have to walk that line and make decisions sometimes. And I'm not going to say I've never been wrong, but you try to look at it, get as much information as you can, and make the best decisions. The only thing I can guarantee everybody, I try to read as much as I can on these things, make the best decision I can, and my wife won't agree with every vote I've ever taken.
Yeah, and she lets you know about it, doesn't she?
Sometimes.
So summer is basically here. You probably aren't quite as busy as you were for the past month, but it's definitely not a slow time for you this summer, is it?
Well, especially here early, people are wanting to come. Like, I think I'm speaking at the Lowe's Chamber. They want to, at their chamber, they're going to want to break down to some of it. I'm going up Tuesday, I think, to meet with the Missouri Retired Teachers Association in Jefferson County. I'm going over to Sullivan to meet with the hospital over there. So you get meetings. People want meetings with you, and they're already wanting to talk about things for next year. So, I mean, it's busy, but not, it's easy to handle it. But we're going to be keeping busy with some of these because people want to start talking to you already about things for the next session.
Well, we always appreciate your time. We thank you for coming in. I mean, fresh off the end of the session, and again, we appreciate giving us your reasons why you vote the way you do it, and that's what I tell my students all the time. That's what's great about your local politicians, about your state senators, your state representatives. If you don't agree with something, you can go ask them, and they'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. You love having these kind of conversations, don't you?
I do. And Jason, I'll tell you something I told somebody the other day, and I truly believe in this. If I make a vote and I go home, if I know I'm going to make a vote, and I think when I go home, I hope nobody asks me about it, then that's the wrong vote.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always think of it that way. If I vote yes on this and I go home and hope no one asks me that, then don't vote that way. Now, if I vote yes and I know some people won't like it, but I'm willing to go home and explain why I voted that way, that's the best you can do.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you for having me.
Mike Henderson, State Senator, joining us here on the Parkland Podcast.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Let's talk some music now on the Parkland Podcast. We talk about a song of the week, we got an album of the week, and then we talk about songs that fit a certain criteria. Let's begin with your song of the week. Mark Toady, what kind of music you into right now?
Well, my song and my album are both from the same artist. I'm going to go with The Who and Won't Get Fooled Again. I was listening to that song on the way here to record the podcast. I was listening to the studio version of the song, but the live version of the song has, simply put, the best rock and roll scream in the history of rock and roll from Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, it's so good they made a sitcom about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Man, but that scream, it's guttural. And it goes on for about 15 seconds. It's awesome. And that leads me to my album pick, which is The Who, Live at Leeds.
Oh, yeah.
It only has 6 songs on it, but that's because My Generation goes on for 14 minutes on this album. But it is considered one of the best and one of the loudest live albums of all time. So if you love good music and you like good live music, you like a live album, The Who, Live at Leeds is considered one of the best and won't get fooled. There's no such thing as a bad Who song.
No.
Some are better than others. Won't Get Fooled Again is near the top.
Absolutely. Great choices. Song of the week, I'm going to go with I've Seen All Good People by the great band Yes, written by John Anderson and Chris Squire from the Yes album in 1971. And I don't know. I just think that it is one of the best rock songs ever written. And once they break into the second part of the song where they have the little break and then they... That's just, to me, I don't know if music gets any better.
I saw them in concert.
Did you really? Oh, my gosh.
Put on a great show. Donovan opened for them, which was a great show.
Hurdy-gurdy man.
But maybe the best part of the show was the fact that I was sitting right behind Ted Simmons of the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals.
Yes.
This was a long time ago.
It's so long ago, he referred to them as the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals.
Yes. Well, Ted Simmons was there.
Keith Hernandez was there, too, wasn't he?
Yes, I've told this story,
Yes.
I know, but
it's worth retelling. It's a great
worth
story.
retelling.
Yeah.
Keith Hernandez wearing dark sunglasses in a concert venue, taking them off and saying, "Teddy, look at my eyes, man." And Ted Simmons saying, "Put your sunglasses back on."
Which makes me think that I've probably picked this song before, too. So that's okay.
Great story.
Yeah. How about album? I picked this one right off the wall of the barn. And this is Let It Be by a band you might have heard of called The Beatles.
Let's hope they pass the audition.
Yeah, I think they will. They're pretty good. This came out in May of 1970. Wow. So this album is how old now?
About 55 years.
55 years old.
Little trivia for that. At the time of this album that it came out, the boys weren't getting along
not at all.
very well. So Paul would go in and record his parts,
Yeah.
and John would record his parts, and then they'd mix them all together. They didn't do a lot of things together at that time.
And basically the times they were together have been all chronicled by the documentary Let It Be. And if you haven't seen that, highly recommend it. And some of the outtakes of some of the songs, like, who's the guy that comes in and plays the organ with the Beatles on that?
Could have been Billy Preston.
Billy Preston. When there's some of the things like
my brother Tom would be proud of me for knowing that.
Yes, good job. When there's some of the things that Billy Preston does, you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds even better than the album.
He was going to be the next Beatle.
Oh, yeah.
If they had decided to keep together. He was one of the guys they were talking about.
Yeah. And he was so good on that album. And just especially George and Paul. I think those two really had enough of each other at that point. John was starting to, find his own with Yoko. And of course, Ringo, he didn't care. He was always there to have a good time.
He was there to have a good time.
He's the one that they all liked.
Another trivia question,
Okay.
a trivia thing for you. Not really a question, but The Who. I'm going to go back to The Who for just a second. And I just read this past week when they were casting for the movie Tommy.
Yes.
Roger Daltrey, of course, in the movie plays Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
He was not really their first choice. Pete Townsend didn't want him to play the part originally.
Huh.
And rumor has it that they wanted Stevie Wonder to play the role of Tommy.
Oh.
But it didn't work out that way. And so they went with Roger Daltrey. And, of course, he did a great job.
Huh.
But that was a little trivia for you.
I wonder how Stevie Wonder would have done.
I'm thinking he would, if he did like anything else, he would have done great.
Yeah, absolutely.
He would have done great.
His Saturday Night Live episode where they have the Canon commercial, the Canon camera commercial. They're like, Stevie Wonder can use it. Oh man, he's so funny. And what a talented musician too.
But the best commercial ever on Saturday Night Live was the "Oops, I crapped my pants" commercial. That still goes down in the Hall of Fame for me.
Absolutely. All right, so our prompt this week for our musical segment, songs with alcohol in the title. And actually, I probably shouldn't have did this, but I had my students help with this a little bit. They like to pick out songs.
The moral decay of the students.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're at the end of the year. We've already passed our end of the year testing, so there's not a lot going on in class right now. But I know I got a big list with a lot of their help, and there's a lot of cool songs on here. One of them, there's a karaoke version of you doing on a previous Parkland podcast, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yes, I remember that very, very well. I just put a couple of these down because I didn't want to get too much into my country roots.
Right.
But that's where the majority of drinking songs are at.
Yes.
So I went with George Thorogood, one bourbon, one scotch, one beer, Margaritaville from Jimmy Buffett, and then Beer 30, Honky Tonk Time from Brooks and Dunn, and of course Whiskey River from Willie Nelson.
I saw Willie Nelson, and I probably told this story too. He played Whiskey River twice. I think he forgot he played it the first time. Tequila. Tequila. Brass Monkey by the Beastie Boys.
Nice.
I don't know if you're familiar with Brass Monkey, that funky monkey. Whiskey in a Jar. The students said Metallica, and I'm like, no. That's a Thin Lizzy song. Thank you very much. I don't like Metallica's version, but I do like Thin Lizzy's. I don't know why. I guess I was mad at Metallica.
I like Thin Lizzy better than Metallica.
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely. How about Strawberry Wine, Deanna Carter? Remember that one? You probably played that a lot on the boot.
She's gorgeous.
And that was her only song, wasn't it?
Oh, no, she had a couple.
She had some others?
Yeah.
That's the only one I remember. Strawberry Wine. How about the Pina Colada song, Escape?
If you like pina coladas, do.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre, Gin and Juice.
Okay.
You like that one?
Well, yeah.
Tennessee Whiskey. Champagne Problems. I don't know who sings that one, but that was one the students recommended. The Brad Paisley song, Alcohol. Very clever song written by Brad Paisley.
But Brad Paisley never drink. He doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink.
He does
really?
not drink, no.
Wow. The coolest Brad Paisley story, though, was like when he went to see Father of the Bride, and he was smitten by the actress in the movie, and he told his buddies, I'm going to marry her, and then he ended up doing it. That's a boss move. The Whiskey Ain't Working No More. Travis Tritt, also Mark Toady has a version on Spotify for your downloads. Pretty good. You mentioned Margaritaville. Luke Bryan apparently is a big advocate for beer.
Yes.
He has a song called Drink a Beer.
He's got several songs
Yes.
with alcohol themes.
Yeah, Red Solo Cup doesn't have alcohol in the title, but is definitely one that people like to mention when they drink. There's a song called Shots. I've not heard it. There's also a song called Wine that I've not heard either. What about Champagne Supernova?
I was trying to think of that song. I love that song.
Yeah, moving faster than a cannonball. Cervasis is another song. How about BEERRUN? Do you remember that one?
That's Beer Run. That's
Beer Run.
George Jones and Garth Brooks.
George Jones and Garth Brooks. A lot of
You know
country
you're
music
listening
things
to a country music song when one of the lines is, "Get in the truck, Garth."
there. Yeah, that's right. And then Tequila Sunrise, courtesy of the Eagles, just to name a few. And there's all kinds of great ones. You probably have a song or two that works with this genre as well. We might have to do like 2.0 drinking songs maybe at some point. Or maybe, well, never mind. we could try the one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer challenge, but
One bourbon, I want scotch, I want beer.
So there you go. That is your music segment for the Parkland podcast. We're real excited about next week's show. We keep hyping this, but I think it's going to be a really good interview. Greg Camp is going to join us. Long time. He was the rock and roll morning show guy. You were the country morning show guy for many, many years back in the day. So interested to hear what Greg Camp's going on. And now he's a Festistonian. I don't even think he lives in St. Francis County anymore. He's like right there on the line in Valley Mines. So we don't see El Capitan as much as we used to. So I'm looking forward to chatting with him. Who else we have next week?
And we're hoping to have Whitney Shumway
Okay.
in. She was the featured speaker at the last Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce meeting, gave a great presentation about a very serious topic that everybody needs to know a little bit more about, teen suicide prevention. And we're going to bring her in, and she's going to tell us more about her efforts there.
Great. So it'll be some interviews that I'm sure you will enjoy for our 50th episode. That's pretty good. 50 Cent will be our guest on the 50th episode of the Parkland podcast. That'd be something. I don't know what we talk about, but I'm sure he has some kind of St. Francis County tie. Either way, Into Club was about Hole in the Wall. No. Hope you all have a great week. Congratulations, all you graduates. Way to go. And we will see you next week on the Parkland podcast.